Have you ever felt trapped with a narcissist? Like you couldn't leave the relationship because you just was in so much fear? That's what we call the trauma bond. The trauma bond is so powerful and so like overpowered. You ever play video games? Overpowered. It's so powerful in so many levels because it literally separates you from yourself to become whoever the narcissist sees fit that you should be for them. And you abide by it. You know what I mean? And it's like it's on the same level of a addiction, if you rather. Like you get so addicted to dealing with them because you're looking for the good moment to come back. You're looking for the beginning of the relationship to come back, and they go up and down with you with the dopamine hits you get from the good times or the good laughs, and it quickly turns crazy, or a whole good day, or a whole good week, or a whole good month, and it goes crazy. Like that is very intentional. All of it, all of the craziness is intentional because it's to see how far you're willing to throw yourself in front of that train for them, to see how often that you will do it, to see how much you will do it, to see how much you disregard your own self for their own, how can I put it, their ego. You know, it's the ego satisfaction at the end of the day. Trauma bonding you is anybody that gives you relationship advice, it doesn't really work because, and let me say this, regular relationship advice while dealing with a narcissist does not work because most of your relationship advice people will give, go see a counselor or just stick it out and they'll change. And they're telling you to do things for somebody. They have no idea that that person is who they are, that that person is a narcissist. The person is someone who absorbs the benefits and doesn't give any ROI and doesn't put any effort in the case, man, future fakes you, you know. And during this like trauma, the evaluation stage, when that happens, it's after they've love bombed you heavy. It's at the beginning when they future fake you and say, we're soulmates. And I'm making fun because you just had to be there for my narcissist, just crazy concept. Anyway, the soulmates, and I never met nobody just like you, and they mirror you, they become you, and you feel like you're looking at yourself and you're in this bliss. But I really want you to understand this concept too, where you're in that bliss. It's really hard for the narcissist to act like that. I know sometimes that when you're in the love bomb phase that you can be clouded on your thoughts and your vision on what you really see, but like it they want you to see yourself in them. But just understand it takes a lot, and they really don't want to do that. It takes a whole lot of energy. They know they're doing that for a reason. They're doing that to get you involved and caught up, and they'll hold it for as long as they need to. Once they see you start to really get comfortable for how they are, and they start accepting things slow, the things that is like, oh wow, and but you're in a relationship now, so you're accepting them for them, and oftentimes they'll use that emotional tie they had with you, that those reinforcements of, I care about you, I want to be in a relationship, I want to make it work. They'll do that often and use that word salad to conform you and indoctrinate you into whatever it is that they believe the ideology of that relationship should be like, for as long as they keep you before they discard you. You see what I'm saying? The discard is always gonna happen with a narcissist. I mean, I'm just gonna tell you that now. Like that's like an automatic. Even if you think that they're off when they go off with the new supply, the discard is gonna happen. We just might not gonna see it. You might not see it, nor do you need to be looking for it. But I digress. with this phase of the devaluation, is to get you to literally forget everything that you thought the narcissist was, and they want you to see them for who they are because you've already accepted some things that were already toxic. That's what I'm saying about all of this, about the last video that I put. Once they get you to be comfortable with certain toxic situations, or what you will feel uncomfortable with, if you rather, like once they start saying you accept that, they'll push that envelope to see how further it'll go. And because you're so loving and so caring about all of it, and it's so sad for me to say this, but it's just real, because you're so loving and caring about all of it, that you can't even see that this person is just trying to mentally trap you, emotionally trap you, if you rather. It's a wild concept that during the ideation phase, ideation phase. Sorry, I'm saying that wrong. During that phase, they idolize you. They make you feel like this is the person you need to be with. They make you feel like there is no one else that you could have possibly landed that was going to be this great of a relationship. Like those emotions, that high, that dopamine, I'm talking about, it's to get you so in the clouds and so up in the air. So by the time all this starts to happen, it's a slow descend. You feel me? It's a slow descend. They see you slowly descend. They bring you down to where they at. It's crazy. And as that transition, the gaslighting starts to get heavier. They start to gaslight you every day. Not once in a while, every single day. And it's so soul crushing that nothing they say you can believe. They take you'll take what they say, especially if they're saying something good, especially with the moments where they'll actualize and be like, you know what, I am hurting you. It's crazy how they'll be like, oh, you know what, I am hurting you, and they'll say that, and you'll feel that, dang, they finally realize, and they'll say that they're going to fix it and stop being this way, and they just want you to be happy with them and stuff like that. Listen to me, that up and down, that back and forth, is to get you into a routine. The routine of them being nice 24/7. They can't keep that energy up. They are who they are. When they show you who they are towards the end, is how they've always been. You just didn't see that, and or they didn't show you that off top. They're not going to show you that off top. I'm not saying people intentionally show the best side of them when you meet them, but I'm saying, like, there's people who will show you the best side of them and become a whole new person in in a certain timeline of your relationship, i.e. the narcissist. You feel me? They put all that time in there to make you feel like to stay still, so they can continue to use your resources and whatever the case may have, your attention. How much you're going to save them. It's listen, man. They love to separate you from your support systems. You feel me? Your friends. Have you ever noticed over time when you're with a narcissist that you kind of slowly stop talking to people, whether it be friends, whether it be family? You know, you even slowly just start to become less happy. And your happiness is directly tied to how they treat you daily. That bond starts to happen. That they see the bond happening. They see you losing yourself. They see you becoming less of who you were at the beginning. And that's how they know when what they're doing is working. They want to see you not be the person that you were at the beginning. They want to see you be somebody that accepts toxicity. Otherwise, they're going to go to other people. That devaluation is, again, is directed towards you mentally to get you primed and ready for when that discard happens. You know what I mean? They prime you. I hate to say it like this, man, but it's just what it is. They prime you. They prime you getting ready, but they're not going to discard you unless it's some benefit before they go off with the new supply. You know what I mean? They're gonna get whatever it is that you're giving them, entertainment, stability, if you rather. You know, they increase that fear in you of them leaving, and you want the relationship so bad, so you start to condone the behavior. You know what I mean? Like with the trauma bond, another key symptom of it is that you start to defend the narcissist to other people who see that you shouldn't be with that person. Straight up. You know you don't need to be defending them, but you're doing it anyway because you don't want to feel bad. You don't want to look bad because you know how sometimes you get in a good relationship and you hype it up to your friends and your family, but you sometimes you don't know you're hyping up a narcissist. It sucks. I know it sucks. I trust. It sucks hyping up a narcissist. I got it. You know what I mean? But that's one of those symptoms of that trauma bond happening because you're hyping up somebody who everybody else sees you shouldn't be with, and you make excuses for their behavior. You know what I mean? A lot of times you make excuses for them talking crazy in certain situations or acting a certain way they shouldn't be in a relationship with you. You make excuses to yourself for why they're acting how they're acting. That's the other crazy. It go from you making excuses to people about how they are to you making excuses to yourself about how they are. You know, because you love them. I'm not trying to make fun of that, but I just want to keep it a stack. You know, you make excuses heavy. Everything they do, everything they say, you got some type of way to. That's just how they are. That's just how they are. Some people look at you like that's just how they are. You still with them? You still dealing with this? That's how a lot of everybody feels that you end up not talking to so much during this trauma bond for real. And you tend to like feel responsible too for how they act. They make you feel like the situations that they do and what happens and the crazy and the chaos is based off how you treat them. They blaming you for that and you making yourself feel bad for them acting this way. So let me give you an example. It's my fault that they drink so much. It's my fault that they're cheating on me. You know what I mean? Because I can't act right. You know what I mean? I know that's probably like extreme, but I'm also being for real though because that's how it can be. Because you will blame yourself for their wrongdoing, and they'll shame you and or somehow make it seem like give them empathy for them doing this because they don't know that they're doing this and they're trying to fix it and make it better. Like it's so manipulative with the trauma bond. I can't. You know what I mean? And it's you gotta understand this when it comes to healing from the trauma bond. You can't change anything that you've done. You can't unshame yourself. That's so key. You gotta know that you can't unshame yourself from this, and it's okay. It's okay to feel like, why was I doing all that with somebody that never cared? It's okay to feel that way as you start to heal from it, when you separate from it, when you go through the devaluation, when you go through the discard and stuff like that. You start to feel you should understand what that was, and then work your way from that. Because if you don't, you're going to ruminate. You're going to stay caught up in these moments and these thoughts and these pressures of why did I do this? And when you want to, for some reason, seek out the narcissist for the answer, for the relief of your emotions, because it gets like that. That's why I say the trauma bond is to get you addicted to them. And it's on a level of addiction, in my opinion, if I'm gonna be honest with you, because you can't do life for real when after you go through that for a hot second. Like, you don't want to eat, you don't want to sleep, you don't want to see nobody. Like, you've been gaslit and future faked for so long, and you've been future, and then you start to gaslight and future fake yourself. That's how the trauma bond does you. The trauma bond is designed at some point for it to be automated for you to do it yourself. I know I say these crazy concepts, but like you are automating their work. You doing the work for their work for them because you ruminate. They know that you are because you showing up to stuff, saving them when you don't need to be saving them anymore. You gotta react to everything that they're doing. You don't need to show a reaction. That's what gray rocking is for. You got to get to a point to where they don't bother you in order to heal from the trauma bond. Like you got to get to that point. You got to get to that point of enough is enough. Reach out to people to help you pull yourself up because it can be hard to pull yourself out of that by yourself. Like for me, I had to reach out to people when it first happened to me. There was no way I was gonna be able to do that on my own by myself in my head. I had to go hang with positive friends, have positive conversations, do positive things, do things for self, and at the end the Hoovers that had corresponded, like I had a great rocker. I had to act like no, I had to because if I continue to keep giving you that routine that you taught me, that you indoctrinated me into, I would never heal from this problem. I would never even got to this space to be able to make videos about this, to tell other people and get other people aware about what is happening when it comes to dealing with narcissism and narcissistic abuse and recovering from it. You know what I mean? Had I had stayed in that space of talking to the individual still, no contact, no contact, no contact. You got to get over that. You can think about them 24/7 all day till you blue in the face. You still got to be no contact, and you got to get the fear out of what if I run into him? So what if you run into him? Get that fear out your heart. You've been living under fear under them for so long because of this trauma bond. The trauma bond has made you fearful of them. Seeing them with somebody else. So what, man? You got to get to these points of where they don't bother you anymore. You got to get to a point to where they don't bother you. You got to get to a point to where put routines of self care practices, like the gym, reading, small simple stuff that you find joy, all the joy that you had doing the things you done before you got with the narcissist, before they threw shade on your talent and skills. Like they mirrored you at the beginning and say, "Oh, I love your talent and skills," and now it's the issue, your talents and skills and hobbies. It's a wild concept how they do that, but you gotta get to a point and say enough is enough. Gray rock them. You gotta put these things into play. I see when people make comments on my videos about my content when they say like I can't get through it, it's hard and this, that, and the other. They still contact me. That's the problem. They're still contacting me. You're still responding. You're still letting them react. I'm sorry, you still giving them a reaction. Stop giving them a reaction. There's a point of level where when they start to see you start to focus on yourself and put all that energy you put into them into yourself, they'll fall off. You know what I mean? They'll see you. They'll if you don't think they're on your social media, they're on your social media. Listen, you got to get to a point to where you can breathe and be sane and be okay in the sense of like, dude, I'm going to be fine without them. It's not going to be that bad. The world's not going to end when I don't see them and I don't have them in my life anymore. You got to get to that point. I know you want answers for things. I trust me. I know you want answers for stuff. You're not going to get these answers. You're not going to get these answers. You're not going to get these answers. You can't beg them for it, and most of the time they don't even remember because they've lied to you and to themselves so much they can't even get their own timeline and story right to even give you whatever it is you're looking for as far as some type of emotional release. That's why you got to be your own emotional release. That's why you got to, pray and work on yourself and stuff like that. Like these are things you have to do in order to heal from the trauma bond. The trauma bond is nasty work. For so long, they've been putting you under everybody else and putting friends and people on the pedestal who, when you look at them, and it's not to be mean, but when you look at these people they put on a pedestal, it's like, they doing crazy, they doing nonsense. Like I don't want to really go too far off into some of the stories that I've experienced, but like it'd be like, yo, you're praising somebody that don't really is very negative. I'm confused. I'm sorry, when I say very negative, doing things they're not supposed to be doing in their relationship. You feel what I'm saying? And you praising them for that. Oh man, so many conversations that I can go off into this. It's not healthy. It's not healthy at all that you would still want to have some type of contact with them after this. It's not, you want, the trauma bond is designed to always keep you caught up mentally for however long that they can text you, hey, how's it going? 2 years later, hey, how's it going? 5 years later, hey, how's it going? 10 years later, hey, how's it going? And some people fold. Some people text back. Some people message back. Some people fold. You don't need to fold. If you really want to clear your mind and get into a better place here, because at the end of the day, this come with you wherever you go. You gotta fix this and clear this. Otherwise, that person is living rent. That narcissist is living rent free in your mind for however long you let them live rent free in there. You gotta get sick and tired of being sick and tired of dealing with this. You got to get to that point. I know what they did at the beginning was messed up. They made you think that you're their soulmate and you're twinsies and stuff. I got it. You know what I mean? I understand. I've been there. Everything was cute. You do cute stuff, cute photos, videos, places with people that one night, that one moment. I got it. It was not real. It never was real. To them, it was never real. And you got to accept that. Because if you don't, the trauma bond is always going to rock your world. That trauma, and you're going to stay with that trauma for however long that you keep it, that you'll never release it. Every time you go to their social media, which you shouldn't, every time you go to their social media and see them with the new supply, that's that trauma bond still working. The trauma bond is still under full effect. So I hope this message finds you well, finds you Murph, and I'm out. Peace.